Poor My Devil says, how much to do cocaine shirtless on a live stream? Well, I don't do cocaine, buddy, so that will not ever happen. Unfortunately, I certainly cannot live stream a felony because I would lose my law license. Don't do cocaine.
So much urine. Anime sucks. Cope and sneeze. Why would you do this? Why now? Why is my camera so on?
Nick has been arrested. So has his wife, Kayla.
He was doing great, and now all those people are pointing and laughing at this guy that's being arrested.
Rackets is in fucking jail, and Mrs. Rackets in April.
Rekieta was arrested Thursday along with his wife and a fellow online personality.
But now, Mr. Rekieta finds himself in the spotlight for not a great reason. No, he and his wife, Kayla, were arrested and charged with felony second-degree drug possession, as well as 2 misdemeanors of child endangerment and firearms possession.
Mr. Rekieta, you are self-representing yourself at this point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Count 1 is second-degree possession, 25 grams or more of cocaine or methamphetamine. The maximum sentence for that count is 25 years in prison.
And then today, just today, Useful Mistake got a copy of the search warrant.
May 16th, Kennesaw County Sheriff Sergeant David Nestor received a report indicated 4 people from the church had gone to him reporting neglect of the children. They also talked about possible controlled substance use and a questionable relationship with an additional couple.
It was reported from a church preschool teacher that the children had complained of being hungry, not being fed, and wearing the same clothes for 3 to 4 days at a time, and would start to smell. Holy shit.
Nick's appearance, and this is, if you guys have been on the forums, you know what I'm talking about. You can do the month-by-month progression of Nick. Yeah, it's a big change. He's lost a lot of weight. He appears tired, strung out, and that's common with drug users for so long.
And everybody who's watching Nick's stream was saying the same thing. He looks like he's using drugs. He's strung out.
He appears in the video to be drinking alcoholic beverages and eventually appears under the influence of a substance or substances. When he returns at 2 hours and 50 minutes in, he appears to be making an excited look and has white powdery substances on his nose. Your affiant also noted that throughout this video, Nicholas is so under the influence of a substance that he at one point has to close his eyes to read his screen, rambles and slurs his speech. Nicholas would obviously not be able to care for his children in this state of intoxication. Being both excited and nearly passing out, this is a consistent behavior of both CNS stimulants and depressants.
And therefore, he is now commanded and authorized search the premises and persons for the above described things and have it seized and analyzed by a forensic laboratory, signed by Judge Fisher.
Jennifer Fisher, Chief Judge of Wilmer, Minnesota, Kennesaw County, is touched probably by retardation. Because like any boring stereotypical woman, I said you were wrong, but you weren't wrong. I just really love the taste of liquor being squeezed out of my vagina, and then they drink it. Most of the judges in Kennesaw County are men. How are they going to squeeze vagina liquor into my mouth? I don't want them to.
This is not that bad. This is a pretty good warrant.
Nick's only hope here, because they found the drugs, is to get the warrant kicked out.
My feelings today are one of being disheartened. Nick, first of all, Nick's in a lot of legal trouble. The search warrant appears to be unattackable. I am disheartened by my friend. This man who I knew, or at least thought I knew, has gone so deeply down. But my understanding from Andrew is that he's in a thread, a DM thread, in which Nick is apparently privately coping.
Nick is flipping out right now in private. And he is, I'm watching some DMs right now. He's going fucking nuts. Nick is going nuts. And I would expect that Nick may make some statements which you probably shouldn't make. Dude, oh my fucking God. Oh my fucking God. Nick just literally, he said, I'm not saying anything else. Talk to me in DMs. And then he drops fucking 3 group messages after that, stating facts that can be used against him in court. This guy is retarded. This guy is retarded. Nick is so fucked if he keeps this shit up.
We have the report from when the police did the raid. So the actual police report and the police report of the entire situation. Looking at it, guys, it's not good. I mean, some of you might be thinking out there, oh, well, it could get better. No, it gets a lot worse. It gets a lot worse. He was advised by the detective to stop a motor vehicle, and the person of interest was Nick Rekieta. Nick was advised that the warrant was signed by a judge. His response was, "That doesn't mean shit." Well, a signed warrant means a lot of shit, Nick. That actually means quite a bit.
And we started knocking on the door to the south side of the residence, and were able to gain a response from a young female juvenile from within the residence who advised her that her dad advised her not to open the door for strangers. Smart move.
Smart move, yeah, very smart.
When I overheard radio communication from Sergeant Nestor advising that Nicholas was not going to give us the code to open the door, Detective Nick Adderoff, utilizing RAM, opened the door, causing minimal damage to the door. If anything, they waited way longer than they had to when drugs are involved. With a drug warrant, you knock once, and then you break down the door pretty fast.
We continued clearing the residence and were able to have the residence secured. The residence was extremely cluttered. There were clothes everywhere, dirty dishes, dust, and an overall dirty home. I overheard Nick Rekieta arguing with Chief Deputy Bauman in front of the house, demanding he receive a copy of the search warrant. I handed him a copy of. I saw him look at it and eventually throw it on the ground.
We started searching the master bedroom, where almost immediately the detective located a snort tube and a black vial on top of 2 credit cards. This is actually quite disturbing to me, because if it's so easy to find, that means that the kids could have wandered in there and found it very quickly as well.
It gets a lot worse.
I continued searching the residence as we located an additional juvenile female in the basement bedroom who was apparently sleeping. I advised her to walk out the room with me to her mum, which she agreed to do. She held my hand as we walked outside. Just the visual image of that is really depressing. Regardless of anything that happened, Nick's actions have caused this situation to occur. These children will always remember the day that the police came, arrested mummy and daddy, and took them away. That's something they will never forget. And that's because he failed in his duties as a father. His lifestyle, indulging in pleasure and hedonism, when you have a responsibility, caused this to happen. And there's no one else's fault. It's not Kiwi Farm's fault. It's not Aaron's fault. It's not the drugs' fault. It's not the whiskey's fault. It's his decisions that did this.
It gets a lot worse.
While assisting and keeping the 4 children occupied outside the residence, the youngest child wanted new clothes as she made reference to the fact that she had been wearing these clothes for more than a day. Imagine that if a little girl is actually saying to the policeman that are arresting her father, mother, and mistress, "Hey, can I get some clean clothes? I don't want to stink when we go out of the house." That's just heartbreaking. But let's try and start with something a little bit lighter than that, shall we?
It gets a lot worse. So he went to go speak with Nick. I advised Nick of his Miranda warning. Remember, this is the detective still. He agreed to speak with me and waived his right to counsel. He may not answer certain questions. How about you not answer any questions?
Not talking to the cops is the best way to protect yourself.
During the conversation, he advised he sleeps in the bedroom with his wife, Kayla. You just incriminated your wife. Good job. So at the jail, they asked to speak to Nick. He said he was willing to do so. They read his Miranda warning again. He agreed to speak with us and waived his right to counsel, like a dumb fuck.
Well, I gave a statement willingly because I wanted to call the cop a pussy a whole bunch.
He said he sleeps in the residence and stays in the master bedroom, and that's where him and Kayla sleep. Once again, you throw your wife under the fucking bus again.
Me, my wife, and my girlfriend.
Solid move, Nick. Solid move. He said April's just a friend and was visiting.
She was my girlfriend at the time. We're broken up now. It sucks, man. I love her. She's cool.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Following items were found in the master bedroom. A bunch of tablets for ketamine, an AR-15 with a bunch of mags, snort tube positive for cocaine, black vial positive for cocaine, a glass container filled with metal filter and grinder positive for cocaine, a large corner cut baggie with white powder positive for cocaine, 3 small baggies positive for cocaine, scaled positive for cocaine, a metal pan positive for cocaine, a bunch of tubes and cutter positive for cocaine scooper. So the total amount of cocaine was 26.67 grams. It gets a lot worse.
Oh boy, do we have a terrible story for you today.
Our boy, Nicholas Robert Rekieta, announced to the world that he intended to start streaming again on Rumble. He gave a time and date. He said it would be a relaxed, casual stream talking about law stuff, and not his case. 1 hour before that happened, this post was made. MN Public Record says, interesting new matter of public record attached. Would anyone care to ask Nick's most ardent defenders why it was okay for a 9-year-old to test positive for cocaine? After being placed out of the home, the children were subject to hair follicle drug testing. All of the children, except for his 9-year-old daughter, who she turned 9 on the day that he was arrested, tested negative. She tested positive for cocaine at a level of 5,000 over 500.
9-year-old child tested positive for coke. at over 10 times the level they were checking for. Mrs. Sweet went to the family home while search was ongoing. At that time, she learned that the home was very cluttered. It was difficult to walk on the home without stepping on clothing, bedding, and blankets. Mr. and Mrs. Rekieta each submitted to a hair follicle drug test on May 30th. However, County Health Services has not received the results of those tests because subsequent to taking those tests, Mr. and Mrs. Rekieta revoked their release of information.
Anyone who suggests that I ever have refused an ordered drug test from the government is incorrect. I've complied with every ordered drug test from the government.
Mr. and Mrs. Rekieta revoked their release of information. The children are in surroundings or conditions that endanger the children's health, safety, or welfare.
The children are also not victims. What they found in the family law case, there wasn't any endangerment.
It's just
the
about the goddamn
were never
cocaine.
in danger.
Continued custody of the children by the parents is contrary to the welfare of the children.
That everyone should be certified as CPS. It's a scourge on the American people, and the more people know about it, the better, sure. The problem is, people like Nick are why CPS was invented in the first place. So yes, CPS does a lot of nasty shit, but for people like Nick, that's what they're meant for. Nick wasn't a nice boy who didn't do nothing wrong.
I'm not here to apologize to you or for anything. I am under the thumb of government. Come out! Apologize! Bow down! Bow! Beg! Tell everybody that you're sorry! For what? What am I sorry for?
I feel so disheartened. And then to see what happened to his kids.
I don't know what I'm supposed to be sorry for.
He violated his obligations to himself. He violated his obligations, more importantly, to his kids. And nobody can own that but Nick. And he must own it if he hopes to achieve any kind of redemption here.
I thought drugs were awesome. I still do. That's why people do them. Drugs are awesome. People wouldn't do them if they weren't. They're illegal. And that legality has really fucking dangerous consequences. So,
in my experience, redemption in these kinds of situations is generally unlikely.
When the state is ready to, they will lie about you. So one side gets to say whatever they want, and they can lie. This is a fact. They can fabricate details. You know what's interesting is that you may not know what's in your house. You may not know what cops bring into your house either. That line that the government put in their complaint was a lie. Every time he said that, that was Josh lying. Maybe it's because cops lie a lot of the time. But Alicia Sweep did lie under oath. Because you're about to hear a lie from Miss Pierce. The state worker tried to lie to us. You lied under oath and you know it. And it involves a government agent lying to the court. They will lie and lie. Lying, lie. You lie. Lying is a lying grifter. This is a fact. Government will be dealt with in course. These charges will be dealt with in course.
Nick has entered his plea to plead guilty to felony charges.
He will plead guilty to the amended charge of possession in the third degree. A statutory stay of adjudication pursuant to Minnesota statutes. The remaining terms of the sentence at the court's discretion. The state drops all other charges. And then the state's dismissing the case against Kayla and the case against April.
People do drugs because drugs are awesome. And the awesomeness of them outweighs the risk. I thought drugs were awesome. I still do. That's why people do them. Drugs are awesome.